Okay. All right. So SPDO, you can see my screen, right?
Yes, I can. I can see the screen perfect.
Okay. So as I was explaining to Ramel, I was kind of just fast forwarding through some stuff while we waited for you to join. You've been through this training, or at least a version of this training based on the old website.
Yeah.
I upgraded the website back in just after Easter. It went live just after Easter. So it's on a later version of the content management system that is the underpinning of the site, Drupal, but it's the same platform, it's the same Drupal platform, just a much more recent version. So as I was explaining to Amel, even though things will look different, two things, not everything will look different, and then some of the features and functions will remain the same. And so the first thing I wanted to do is make sure you guys have access, right? So as you might remember from before, let me log out here. To access the website in edit mode, you have to first log into it, which means you need an account for the site. So actually, I think probably the best way to do this is if you go to the website, click login, and let's see here. How am I to do this for you guys? Let me see. I thought there was a way to request a password. I guess request the login, but maybe not. Well, let me do this. I'm going to create an account for you guys. What I was going to do is have you request a password. Request an account. And there is, but for some reason it's not showing in the user interface. So let me try this again. Yeah, there should be a create your new account here, but that's not here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to log in as an administrator and then create your accounts.
Okay.
And then what'll happen is, so I encourage you guys to use the Board of Christian Education account. I know once upon a time, Espedito, you had access to that. Do you?
Yep.
Okay. So that's the account. So basically let me go in here and create your account. People, add a user. I'm going to, let's see.
Something is going on. Problems with my computer right now.
Okay.
Of all times to be acting up. I don't have time.
I'm going to create this default password that you guys can change if you'd like.
Okay.
Which I experience easily remembered. I will call it hopefully that's easy to remember. So it's basically Jesus Loves 44 2022. JESUS capital LOVES 44 2022. All right. The account will be active. Let's see. I think that should be sufficient.
Yeah, we'll keep it like that because that is the email that's the password that Deacon Ruby sent me. Jesus Loves 44, and then she has an exclamation point.
Yeah, that was the default passwords I was using. Yeah, so the only difference here is that this doesn't have an exclamation point at the end. I can add one actually. And to be clear, that may be the password for the actual email account, for the Google account. It's a different login it's a totally separate account for the website.
Okay.
But just for simplicity's sake, I'm going to append an exclamation mark here. So it's the same, if not similar to what you guys are used to.
Okay.
All right, so I'll create a new account. All right, so what should have happened is, why is it saying no email has been sent? Are either of you logged into the 40% account?
Well, earlier today, the email I got from Ramel looked like it told me to go into using the Board of Christian Education at in the Google. So I
Right.
guess I wasn't quite understanding what the email meant to do with that password. It looked like it just took me into the Board of Christian Education's like Google account where you could check mail or.
Yes, that's where it will take you.
Exactly. And so why I suggested that is that basically,
I just saw that.
yeah, when I created this account, usually what it'll do, it'll send you an email just to verify, but it looked like that was bypassed. So that you may not actually need to log into your account to do what I wanted to do. I just want to make sure that this, so here, what you see here is, so I created so the username for this account is BOCE, all right? So when you log in, that'll be a username. The password is the password I just shared, which is, again, Jesus loves 44 2022 exclamation mark, capital J, capital L.
Okay,
I want to make sure you have access to the right, basically, if your role is correct. I will give you administrator access.
I'm sorry, guys. My computer is totally hosed right now.
Are you gonna have to like reboot or something?
I may need to, yeah, at this point. This just isn't working at this point.
Okay.
I can barely hear you, and the keyboard isn't allowing me to type at this point. And I
Oh,
don't
wow, okay.
quite know what's going on.
All right, so yeah, go ahead and reboot.
I'll
Basically,
come
I'll
right
do
back
is,
in as quickly as I
okay,
can. I apologize, guys.
no worries. We'll wait till you
Figure out
get
what
back.
is going
Yep,
on.
We'll
no
actually
problem.
pause the recording till you get back.
All right.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, yeah, if you can just, you can log in a couple ways. You can actually click on the link on the bottom of the GFCC website, but it might just be easier to go to google.com
Okay. All
and log in from there.
right. I'm going to stop sharing. Hold on so I can see my. I'm going to go to google.com. So you say go to google.com?
Yep.
And then what do I do?
Top near the top right. Again, it might be easy to show your screen.
Oh,
Big
yeah.
screen.
I have to sign in. I see it. And then I
Yeah.
put an
Yep.
email. I put the BOE email.
Yep. The
Then
complete
I hit
address.
next. And then I can hit the Google Workspace account. And
Correct.
then the password that she gave me.
Correct. Now this will get you into the Board of Christian Education Google Workspace, which again in
Right.
turn gives you access to. It'll actually give you access to this the spreadsheet where the registration form, the MLK breakfast registration form, says this information.
Mm-hmm.
It'll give you access to the Board of Christian Ed Gmail, and all the other services that a lot of which you guys don't use. Like you could have your own YouTube channel if you wanted to. You have your own Google Drive, which again is where the Board of Christian Education, the registration data for the MLK breakfast is stored, and basically all of the Google Workspace tools, forms, Google Docs, Google, all that stuff. So I think what you'll be using mostly is the Gmail, like you said before, that you log into the Gmail to see if you have any new registrants.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll probably also be using, you'll be using probably Google Drive, and then you'll be using probably the form, maybe to a lesser extent, the Google Forms. So were you able to log in?
I am. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
And I can't get my video to start, but I can hear you fine now, at least.
Okay, good.
Okay.
It's very frustrating. Sorry, guys.
That's
No
okay.
worries. No
So
worries.
it's
Ready
asking
to-
me to enter my a phone number.
Yeah, probably but Is it, can you bypass it?
It just says try another way. I can do that.
Yeah, I think I know, but could you share your screen so I know exactly what it's showing you and asking you? It's
Yep.
probably two-factor authentication.
It probably is.
Yeah.
Well, I said try another way.
Yeah,
So.
no, well, okay, hang on. So, right, so one of you guys, so this is after you click try another way.
Yes.
All right, so do it. What was the first way? He was asking you.
Cell phone number or just a number. It shouldn't, I'm sorry, it didn't say cell number. I can probably go back.
Maybe, but sometimes, okay, send to the password again, yeah. Okay, hang on. Enter a phone number to get a text message with a verification code. So yeah, you could do that. So basically it's going to send you, what is it going to do? It's going to basically, as it says, it's going to send you a text message to confirm that you are who you say you are.
Okay.
And if you do like try another way, it's going to like send you, it'll try to send you an email address and it gets less and less timely the more you go, but this should be fine.
Oops.
Yeah, then you click next if you haven't already yet. All right. Yep.
Yeah.
Just had it. Yep. Just type that code in.
Do I have to put the G in front of it? Oh, no, they
No.
already have that.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay. So now you're logged into the Board of Christian Education Google Workspace account, right? So if you click you see the 9 dots there, top near
Mhm.
top right. Now this is all of the Board of Christian Education specific Google Workspace features, right? So like I said earlier, what you'll probably be using the most is Gmail, right? So you mentioned before you had checked on whether or not you got new registrants.
Yep.
Yep. And so basically anything coming to Board of Christian Ed is this is basically your email account.
Okay.
Well, and I should say for the entire ministry for Board of Christian Education. So
Okay.
several of you guys will share this. So for now, I don't think we'll need this for what we're doing today. What I originally thought was that once I created your account, you would have to verify that your email is correct by clicking on something in here, but it doesn't look like Drupal is requiring that, the website's requiring that. So I think we're good to go with the rest of this. All right, so let's see, you can stop sharing. Okay, let me go back to sharing my window here. Okay. All right, you guys are seeing my window, right?
Yes.
Okay. So so actually maybe I should have left it with you guys, but I'll show you what to do, and then if you can try to do it, and actually both of you guys can do it as well, because I think more than one person can be logged on the same account at the same time.
Yeah.
But if you go to gfccnet.org, and I'll log out so that you'll see exactly what I'm seeing. So if you go to gfccnet.org, it'll look just like this. This is
Okay.
a
Yep, I'm in
non-logged
there.
user. Okay.
Yep.
All right, you there, Espirito?
Yes, I am.
All right, so click this login link.
All right, hold on, let me go back. Yep.
Now here's where you enter in the credentials that I just created for you guys. So the username is BOCE. I don't think it's case sensitive, but the way I typed it in was all uppercase.
BOCE.
Yes.
Yep. And then the password.
was Jesus Loves 44 2022 exclamation mark. Capital J, capital L.
All right, I'm sorry, you said Jesus with a capital J?
Yep.
Jesus, and then a capital LOVES.
Yep, the number 44,
Okay,
and then 2022 exclamation mark,
okay.
and click login.
Yes.
No. All right. So before I show you what you should see when you log in, just to point out, if you ever, or if anyone ever forgets or wants to reset your password, you can do the self reset by clicking this here. All right, you would click the reset your password, and then yeah, it'll ask you for the email address associated with the account or the username, and then you'll get an email to just, in your case, an email to the Board of Christian Education email address that you're logged into now. And then you can just click the link to reset your password. But once you've logged in, and Espadito, were you able to log in?
I am in. Yep.
Yeah, I think what it'll take you to is your personal page, right? Mine looks a little bit different because I'm I'm the admin, but you might just be taken to a it may have your user, the BOCE username, and I don't know if you'll see anything under this. It may look exactly like this, but you may just see a username. You see something like that?
No, all I see is the BOCE name. Looks
Here,
like the
right?
roof of the
The
main
church.
room at GFCC, and then down at the bottom it just says view address book, payment methods, shortcuts.
That's what I
What else?
see. That's what I see. And then it says campaign, published, campaigns unpublished.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. So basically the equivalent of what I'm sharing on screen here. All right. So that's how you know you're logged in, right? Now to get to the home page, do you also see at the top here? You see a menu like this? If you're looking at what I'm sharing, content, commerce, structure.
Yes, I do.
You can see that. Okay.
Yes, I do too.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's you only logged in users see that, right? So that's yet another way you know you're logged in. Really, the three ways is basically what you guys are subscribed to seeing. Also, the login changes to that my account, although it's a bit obscured by this admin menu. But mainly this admin toolbar is the main way you'll know that you're logged in. So typically what I'll do is I'll just click home to go to the home page. And again, it's the same website, but it's just you're in administrative mode. And again, you know that among other reasons because you're seeing this bar at the top, right? And so what I'm gonna take you through is how would you modify the MLK page, right? So there's a couple ways you can get to the MLK page, right? You can get it by knowing the URL, and the MLK URL is pretty easy. You just type it's gfccnet.org/MLK. /web or /MLK, it gets you to the same place. So either way is fine. The MLK also has its own, if I remember correctly, its own link under the ministry section. So you can click on the ministries menu and get there as well. I think those are really those are the only two ways to get there. So I'm going to just again go back to ministries and then click MLK celebration. And this is the MLK homepage. And you see the URL at the top here, the shortened URL. And
Yes,
and
I'm on that right now.
Yeah. And as I mentioned, both MLK, like, so if I were to get rid of web in the URL, it'll take the users to the same place. It's just easier for users to remember if they don't have to remember that there's a web in front of it. So, all right, so this is the MLK page. And it basically consists of the banner, which is typical, and then all of the information, Ramel, that you sent me from the flyer. And so what I had to do was extract the text, the image of the individuals, and any other relevant information from the flyer, and basically create it and put it into this page. To edit this page, you click the edit link here. Right. And again, Expedito, some of this should be look familiar from the prior version of the website. So now,
Yep, I mean, this part of it, I get. Unfortunately, what I'm struggling with right now is back at the main area where I'm on the BOCE part. How do I get back to like home?
oh, from the login screen?
Yeah, I'm at the point where I just see the white letters that say BOCE and
Okay.
so forth. Where
think
was
you-
I couldn't see where you had clicked to find home.
Okay, let me go there. I think you were here, the equivalent of here, right? So are you seeing this menu at the
Yes.
top? Yeah. so
I'm
you click-
seeing, yep, okay.
Yeah, so you can click home to get to the home page.
Oh, there it is right there. I'm sorry.
Yep, no
blanking.
worries, no problem.
Nope.
Yep.
Cool. I see it now.
And now that we know what this menu consists of, if you want to go directly to the MLK homepage, you can click the ministries menu,
Okay, I see. Yep. All
and
right.
then MLK celebration is an item under there.
Cool. Yep.
So
Okay, I
there's a-
got it
there's a-
now. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a Christian education section, and MLK right now is the only thing there.
Yeah, that's what I did. I just went on the ministry and clicked on MLK celebration.
Yeah, that works. And then so again, that brings us all here. All right, and so to edit this, so you're viewing this basically as a regular viewer would view it, except since you're an admin, you're seeing these additional capabilities that regular visitors wouldn't see. So now to edit this page, you click this edit icon or this edit button here. And you guys, I think you may have already clicked this, Ramel. But Expedito, do you see this edit?
I do. Yep.
Okay. So if you click edit,
Oh, I didn't click the edit button yet. So did it say I clicked it?
no, I can't tell what you've done.
Oh,
But
okay.
but you can go ahead and click that edit button. And it should take you in this WYSIWYG mode. This is what you see, what you get, editing mode.
With the warning in red there for security updates. and-
Yeah, on my to-do list. Yep. Yeah, there's an update available for basically an update to either the version of Drupal we're using or some of the plugins that we use to
Mhm.
add some of this
Okay.
functionality. So are both of you guys here?
I am.
Okay. So all right. So and again, Expedito, this should be familiar with what you were experiencing, what you experienced prior to the website upgrade in April. But so again, what you see here is basically the ability to edit the main content of the page, right? And it's, again, if you're familiar with Microsoft Word, it's basically a WYSIWYG editor. Now, and I think Ramel, I was explaining to you that there will be times when you'll want to edit directly in the XML, sorry, in the HTML. But
Mhm.
if it's minor changes, like say, for example, say we misspelled Gilda's last name, you just click into it and type over it as if you were typing over a document.
Yeah,
And
it's a
it's all
text
what-
editor.
It's exactly what it is. It's a text
Mhm.
editor.
Okay.
If you won't have a need for this, but like say you wanted to add an image, you put where you want to insert the image, click this edit image icon, and then you can either upload something from your local computer, or I think it's probably the only option actually. Yeah, you can basically click this to upload a file from your computer, and then there's some things you can do with that. Again, for the most part, with regards to the breakfast, this is basically has everything that the flyer had. So I don't think you'll need to do that. I think where this comes into play is when you start to add the stuff for the youth conference. And I'm assuming that's still something that's happening.
Yes,
Jamal?
it is. Yes.
So that's where it gets a little bit more sophisticated. And so what we've done in prior years is we have basically a section kind of walled off by this horizontal line here
Mhm.
for that kind of walls off the MLK breakfast from the youth conference. And if we have other events, like it was a couple years ago, or maybe last year, we had like a youth panel discussion.
Yeah, we had Rich. That was Rick.
Oh,
Yes.
Rick's, you're right. So really you could do whatever you want with this page, but that's just how we've organized it in the past. I do have the old site archived. So if you guys do end up needing to see what was done in prior years, I can show you that. But that's basically how that would happen. If you do need to get to the HTML, and I think you probably will at some point, this source icon here shows you the same content, but in HTML format, right? And you can, and so for example, you might see some kind of methods to my madness here, right? So usually, a couple days before the breakfast, either you, Ramel, or Deacon Ruby will say, all right, we're at capacity, let people know about that, and then shut down certain aspects of either the store or the site. And you'll see here, and if you know HTML, you're familiar with this. I've commented out that.
Okay.
So the basis for this page was what we did last year, right? So to create this page, I basically copied, I copied, well, let me back up. I copied aspects of last year's page to this site, but obviously we're not ready to shut down the breakfast registrations yet. So I just commented the feature out. So this is one scenario where you'd want to go into the HTML, because I don't think you can do that in WYSIWYG mode, right?
Yes.
You can't put comments in, but that's definitely one scenario for which you'd want to go into HTML mode. So you click source, and if all you'd have to do is kind of remove the bookend, so to speak, of the comments, go back to source, and you see now you have that we've reached capacity note.
Oh, yeah.
Visible. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
So
That's
that's
easy enough.
Yeah. And then
So,
obviously, go ahead.
Just an FYI, we are almost at capacity.
Are you serious? Are you serious?
I'm basically, yes. I'm being serious.
Yeah, this will be the earliest we've ever hit capacity. Although, and you did say before that we have a smaller capacity
Yes, we
intentionally
do
than
have
we
a
had
small
previous years.
capacity. That's why. Yes.
Wow. Yeah, but even with that, it's still we're not even into November yet.
I know. Well, I have to rethink some things because I need to get more people in.
Okay. Have fun with that. So, and the last thing will be to save it, right? And this is true for any page that you modify on the website.
Okay.
The status is published, right? Because when it's published, when this is checked, that means whatever you save is actually visible. So it'll keep its default status. But to have this actually be visible to the public and to save your changes, you would hit save.
Okay.
But since we don't want this to be shown, what I'm going to do is go back. Well, I could do a couple things, right? I could actually just kind of go backspace and get out of this page, and it won't save my changes. But just to kind of show you once again HTML mode, I'll click the source button so I can view the source. I'm going to put back, basically comment out this information.
Okay.
That's the open comment brackets, close comment brackets. And I go back into WYSIWYG mode, you now see it's no longer visible.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
That's easy.
So one question, Wayne.
Sure.
Earlier you talked about the what was it? The youth ministry stuff.
The youth conference.
Youth conference, yes. And I wasn't quite sure how does that, so in the past it was just extended off of this page, or was it its own page?
Yeah, in the past it was extended off of this page. And what we had is, and I'll start the beginnings of it now, right? So what we had was maybe a horizontal line, basically. Yep, that's insert horizontal line. So visually, it's distinct. And then similar to what is done for the breakfast, you basically just create that page.
Okay.
Right? Whether it's, I think in the past it was like a banner, and it wasn't as maybe sophisticated as this. I think it was just like maybe a banner and kind of a bulleted list of the program. It wasn't that involved.
Okay.
The other thing that we do is, and let me see if I did it this time, is we include HTML anchors in the page so that if Board of Christian Education, or when they're promoting the event and they send a link to the folks they're promoting to, the link will take them directly to this page. So specifically, I think Ramel, if I remember correctly, when I was giving you the URLs to give to the designer,
Yes.
it was something like gfccnet.org/web/MLK #breakfast.
Yes.
And then for the youth conference, it would be #youth conference.
Correct.
Now,
Yes.
where that would show up, and I don't remember if I did it for this one, but where that would show up is at the beginning of the breakfast section. There should be an HTML anchor that's literally says the word breakfast. And I may not have put that in yet. And so retro celebration. Yeah, unless I'm reading this too quickly, I don't see it here. So basically what would happen, and I'm forgetting the syntax for an anchor, but it starts down in, it would be somewhere here actually where we go. Because this table here is where the breakfast, actually, let me take that back. It's really here when we talk about when it's happening, the dates, right? So this start time, and this is what, this is the, okay, viewing the program booklet. So really it's here, virtual celebration. So really it's here. This is what actually, this is the beginning of the breakfast section. And if you want to be specific, it's really here, right? But
Okay.
this is the beginning.
Right.
So there would be an HTML anchor here, and I'm forgetting the syntax of an HTML anchor. It's something like I think this is it actually, name equals, and it would be breakfast. Right. And what that does is that's what enables that / breakfast link that I shared with you, Ramel.
Okay.
And then so similarly, there'd be one down here. So this is the last part of the answer to your question, Espedito. In addition to actually adding the content for the youth conference. So let's see here. So here's the horizontal rule I added earlier, like that line separator between the breakfast stuff and this stuff.
Yeah.
So basically right here, you would add this anchor. And I always just call it youth conference. Or just youth, whatever makes sense. I think in the past we've used youth conference.
Yeah, I think we should put youth conference so that,
okay.
yes.
And I think that's the right syntax for, actually, Espedito, you might recall. I think that's the right syntax for an HTML anchor, although I got the.
Yeah, I'm blanking. I mean, obviously we can search it online and figure it out.
Yeah, and actually, if it's not, then it may be flagged when I go back into source mode. Yeah, so see something's wrong here. Let me see what I do here. Let's see. Yeah, so I'll fix that. I'll fix it offline.
Okay.
It may be like href equals something, but there's something that I did here. Oh, what it is I have a error comma somewhere. So I'll clean this up. And actually, what I will do is not save this page, right?
Okay.
But to summarize, that's how you would add the stuff for the youth conference, right? So visually create a separator, and again, because my tags are screwed up, that's why this formatting is a little bit messed up. But I just create a separator here, and then I think in the past you'll have a banner. So if you have a banner, like some sort of image, use that insert image feature I showed you.
Okay. Yep.
Add the image here.
Okay.
And then just add the text after it.
Okay.
And if you need to go into HTML mode and to basically to view and edit the source, you edit the source.
Yep.
And then once you're done with all of the above, you would just click save, and this is automatically available to anyone who goes to the website. I don't think anything else has to change.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think anything else has to change. Everything else is already all set.
Okay. One question concerning back when you're looking at the real page.
Okay, I'm gonna go back here. Yeah.
this image up above the banner, basically, of the current, 36th annual Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
Where is that, when we go back to the edit mode, where was that inserted to be the header of this particular document? Because I didn't see that.
Okay, that's an excellent point, right? So the way this page is constructed, it's actually a view, and I'm using sort of a Drupal pseudo-technical term here. It's actually a view that consists of two parts. Part one is this banner you're referring to, and part two is the content.
The content.
Now,
Okay.
yeah, so what you could do though, you can put the image as part of the content. Why I didn't do that for this banner is, I think I started this before we had one of our conversations, Ramel. And in prior years, what we did is we had this banner kind of rotate between the youth conference and the breakfast.
Yes,
But your feedback from Mel was that was confusing for viewers.
it
And I
was
think,
because we were receiving a lot of feedback that they were getting confused on the date and the times, because they were like, oh, it's Saturday. And I was like, no, our event is not Saturday, because they were looking at the youth conference.
yes. So since the basis of this page was a copy from what I did last year, I just recreated this page the way it was done last year. But
Okay.
visually it's the same.
Okay.
So I could have just dropped this same banner in using the insert image at the top before we started the title and the line and dates and time and so forth.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But here's the one, and this is the one other difference between doing it this way and doing it the way you just said. For the youth conference, I think, or anything that doesn't appear at the top, that's correct. But if you notice, this image is above the content area.
Yep. Okay.
Right. So let me edit again, because this is a great question, right? So if I edit, the very top of this is the title of the page.
Yep.
And then, which actually is not even shown, but the title that we have in the content. So from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day all the way through to the ability to register and to download the flyer. If I go back to the actual page itself, so the title that you see there is used sort of as this kind of page header, if you will. But the content, it starts here.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
So,
I see that.
Okay, I see that. Yep.
So to your question, Espirito, if this banner was put as part of the content, it would appear
below the date.
Below
or time
that.
area.
Yeah, basically
Yeah,
right
that's
up,
okay.
basically right above this, which
Oh, okay.
which visually, I think visually this belongs at the top.
Yeah.
But it's and the other thing is, and this again maybe less significant here, is if we wanted to, you can have this image expand the full width of the page, right? But if it's part of the content, then you're constrained to the width of the content. But again, for the MLK, for the breakfast banner, since it appears at the top anyway, it's less significant. But again, to your question, for the youth conference, you do want that a part of the content. So you would, to confirm, you would edit that, go to wherever you would want to add that image. Let's just say here, just for demonstration purposes. And then as I showed before, so my cursor is right below these two buttons.
Yep. Okay.
And then you would just use the insert image icon, click choose file. Maybe I'll find an image to upload. And let's see if I can happen to have an image handy here. All right, I'll choose this. I don't even know what this is an image of. Yeah, so this is actually an old 2040 Gala image. Are you still seeing? Can you see this insert image box, or is it not
Yes.
visible?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
No,
we
I can see it. Yep.
All right. All text is required. So just for accessibility reasons, so just put let's say anniversary banner. You can choose if you want it to be like a default alignment, left, center, or right. I'll select center and then save this. And this is saving this image insert. And you see it inserted the image centered right where I had my cursor.
Okay,
And so, you know, imagine that this is the actual,
so that would be where the youth banner would go.
exactly,
Okay,
exactly, yeah. Yeah. And then, as I mentioned before, you'd want to also put that named anchor probably right at the beginning of that section.
at that section. Okay,
Yeah.
yep,
Yeah, probably right near where the title is.
okay.
And that's basically it. I mean, a lot of the work will be if there's any fancy HTML you guys are going to want to do, but I think for the most part, and again, if I remember correctly, you guys will likely have an image associated with the youth conference,
Yes, we will have an image, yes.
and then the text is probably going to be textual after that. And so I don't think it'll be that complicated in terms of how you have to edit this page, or in terms of I think, again, I think the content for the youth conference is typically less than, or not as, like, you don't have, you know, this like multiple rows of an image and content. Maybe you will, but I think historically it hasn't. I think it was like a banner image and then like a kind of a bulleted list of the program. And so I think it should be pretty straightforward. And if it's not like just literally inserting images and text below it, then if you need to, you can go into the HTML.
Okay, so yes, it will be similar to what you said. They will have a banner, but they are having a speaker. So I think they want the speaker on there. So I will have probably, I don't know if it will have any text, because in previous years they had a picture, but it just said the speaker and who the person was. They didn't have a little bit of background about him, about the speaker. So it would probably really just be inserting the picture and then just saying speaker and then the name of the speaker.
Yeah.
That would probably be the amount of text.
Yeah. And if the structure of the youth conference is similar to this, or sorry, how you're presenting the information about the youth conference, if it's similar to this, you can always just copy I think you can do it from here as well. You can just copy the content. What I actually would typically do though is I would copy the HTML and paste the HTML. But you should also be able to, like, say, copy all of this content. Let me try it here. Copy this. I just gotta remember not to save this because I don't want to mess up this page. And then paste this. Command V. Oh, nope, it didn't work. It actually didn't save what I copied. It saved. Let's see. Let me try this again. Copy that. Let me use the browser to copy. Yes, so you see how I copied Marshall Lee's section here and just pasted it again?
Yep.
And so what you could do, again, if the structure of the youth conference content is similar to this, you can copy this and then just change the stuff. Like, you know, you can double click on the image, replace it with a different image. Like, you can literally remove the image. And then, like I showed you before, replace it with, let me find another image here. Let's see. It's probably a bad suggestion, a bad to illustrate what we're talking about. But this is because I think this is like literally a transparent image, as it says. Center, save. So yeah, basically it inserted a transparent image here, which is why I see nothing. But I just wanted to illustrate how you can just like replace an image.
Okay.
And similarly, you can just type over or replace this text as you see fit. Or you can just create the content from scratch. But either way, the creation process is not that complicated. What takes me the most time, to be honest with you, is going from the PDFs to something that's on the web. Like not even so much copying and pasting the text, but and this gets into sort of details. Each of these images has a bit of a white border around I think the right and bottom side, so that there's some spacing between the image and this text. And And so really what takes me the most time is breaking down, because the structure of the page hasn't changed over how many years, right?
Mhm.
It's usually, updating, because usually most years we have different keynotes, different other folks part of it. So
Mhm.
it's kind of copying and pasting, or it's really cutting out or cropping out these images from
Mhm.
the
Yep.
PDFs, and then copying and pasting the text from the PDF, and then just either using the WYSIWYG editor or going into source mode and making the
Mhm.
corresponding changes. But
Yep.
that might be tedious in some instances, but it's not like complicated work, especially if
That's
you're
for me anyway, that's the one easy thing.
okay.
In terms of photos and Photoshop and imaging and that kind of stuff. So to me, that part of it is the simple part.
Yeah.
Taking existing stuff and manipulating it and putting a
Yeah.
border or
And
whatever we got to do.
none of it's complicated. It's just tedious.
Yeah.
If there's like in some instances, not so much for the MLK stuff, but like some of the anniversary celebration stuff, you have like the text baked into the image,
Mhm.
so you have to retype it and rekey
Mhm.
it, so things like that.
Mhm.
But yeah, to
Yep.
your point, none of it is really, I would say, complicated. It's just some of it is just tedious, and even
Yep.
with the tedium, it doesn't take that long to do.
Mhm. Mhm.
And again, as I mentioned, I'm not going to do it now because I don't want to unintentionally save anything. Whenever you're done, just click save.
Yep. Mhm.
Save the page.
Yep.
I never have to click delete. This is a little unintuitive, but this is standard Drupal stuff. I don't know why they have this here. This basically should be a cancel button, but I
Mhm.
never click delete here. So just let me just say this explicitly. This does not function like a cancel button. At least my concern is that this is not cancel. It will actually delete the page. I think I've done that once
Mhm.
mistakenly. So just
Okay.
ignore this button. If you want to
Okay.
cancel what you're doing, just hit backspace and go to the previous page.
Okay,
Yeah.
Okay.
okay.
Now, is there are there kind of reverse buttons, like you can go back and say, 2 steps before when I messed up, or is there kind of like a back incremental back step
Yeah.
in terms of once you're editing?
Yeah, there isn't an undo per se. This editor
Uh-huh.
doesn't have undo.
Okay.
The browser's undo though, I think will work. Let's just do a real-time test here. Right. So I just typed SSS here. Let's see if the browser undo. Yeah, so the browser undo works.
Letter by letter.
Yeah, letter by letter. Yeah. So the browser undo works. You also have, and I think this doesn't work the same way. Yeah, well, this gets a little bit complicated, but in some instances, well, let me just explain this, right? So I described this as a page before, right? From a Drupal perspective, this is actually a product. And actually you see in the URL, the word product here,
Mm-hmm.
because actually one of the next steps I had planned for the platform was to kind of change the whole e-commerce experience so that it does not look like this, and that the look and feel looks more like how the website looks, right? How the website looks, and it also uses the same platform and not a whole different platform.
Mm-hmm.
And the first step towards doing that is in making these events where we take money, so these events that we charge people for, to be in the website as a product and not just as a basic page. So again, this is sort of Drupal minutia, but technically speaking, this is not a Drupal page or basic page. It's a Drupal product. Now, just to complete this thought, let me show you how to create a page, right? And this may come in handy at some point in the not too distant future. Content, add content, and let's do a basic page. And with a basic page, you do have the ability to create revisions. And in that scenario, Espedito, you can revert to previous revisions.
Mhm.
But at least at this point, products don't support it, which is why we can't do that with the product. So
Okay.
to your question, for the MLK product as it currently is, yeah, you have to basically use the browser undo function to go sort of character
Okay.
by character or change
Yep.
by change.
Indeed.
There may be circumstances where, like for example, the Board of Christian Education page that you were creating in the old website,
Mhm.
that is a basic page.
Mhm.
And that's a scenario where you can have multiple revisions for one page.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
that will be useful for you in the future, just not for the MLK product.
Okay.
One other thing I'll show, and I will then see if you guys have any other questions, is so if I go back to the main page of the website, let's see that. Backspace, so back up, go back to the home page. Similar to the old website, at the bottom are GFCC specific links, right? And one of those links is the ministry technology guide. Now, anyone whose email address I have, personal email addresses I have, or if you're logged into a gfccnet.org Google account, like the Board of Christian Education one, you have access to this ministry technology guide.
Okay.
And what we spoke about here is documented in more detail under this content management section, right? And so there's two things here that I just recently linked to. So one is the relevant section of the Drupal user guide, and that'll go into more information about like I just described, kind of how Drupal works, how to edit a page. So if you want more information about that, or if there's some things that I haven't gotten into, there's a lot of documentation there. So what I tried to do is link directly to what's most relevant for folks who just be editing content. Again, there's a lot of other information. Like, so when you asked earlier, Expedito, about like why you didn't see the banner image for the MLK page at the top, this structure section talks about that.
Setting up content structure. Okay.
Right. That's synonymous with the term views. Right. And so the MLK page is basically a view that consists of the banner at the top and the content section at the bottom. But
so you're saying that somewhere else is just that banner by itself?
Yeah. So, and actually, that's actually something I should have shown you. So let me actually go back there. As something I should have shown you.
And Wayne, while you're in there, I have one question too. So so once we get closer to the event, because we have people that are virtual, we normally do a digital booklet, and I normally send it to you to, I don't know where you put the digital booklet. Is it on the web? It's on the website, correct? Or is it somewhere, or does it lie somewhere else? Does it sit somewhere else?
Yes, but yes, it sits on the website, or excuse me, it's accessible from the website, but it actually lives and sits someplace else. And I'll show you that in a bit.
Okay.
All right, but just to complete my answer to Expedito. So if I go back to the MLK page, and I'm still logged in. So to edit the content, we'll click this edit here. But since we're an admin, anything that's editable, you'll see, if not explicitly these buttons, you'll see a little edit pencil here. And when I click that for this and do edit, this is how you'd actually edit that image.
Okay.
So I'm editing the block that contains this picture. And so if ever you need to change this picture, like Ramel, you had sent me a version that added this is a hybrid event piece at the bottom. This is how I went and changed it, right? So you can edit this, and just like in the when you're editing the content, this is just a WYSIWYG editor, right? Where I use this, like we saw before, and I added that image that was sent via URML from the printer, right? This MLK web banner 2023, whatever. I renamed it a bit. Because actually I edited it slightly to remove the register but not here button,
Mhm.
and then place it here. So again, if you do need to edit this banner for whatever reason,
Mhm.
then once logged in, you'll see this edit pencil, click edit. And then that's how you could replace the image.
Cool. I
You
got
can do
it.
other things with it, but that's typically
Yep.
all you need to
Mhm.
do.
So this particular block its purpose is only for that banner alone, and that's it.
Exactly.
No text, no anything else.
Exactly. If there's anything else you'd have to do, you might want to do here. So this is the configuring of the block itself. So this just says that you only want to show that block on the MLK page. But again, I don't think there's a reason why you'd want to that you would need to modify this at all. I think again, if you do need to modify the image, you would just go here and click edit.
Yeah, simple enough.
And just modify that image or upload a new image.
Yeah.
So Ramel, your question was around the booklet.
Yes,
So,
because
like-
we will have a digital booklet.
Yeah. So so what we do is we store those kind of community documents. If you click documents here, Board of Christian Education has a folder, right? So this, let's say, set of folders is actually a Google Drive that's embedded into the website,
Okay.
right? Robin, the church administrator, also has access to put documents into this community documents folder. This is the same structure where we don't do it. We haven't done it really consistently since the since the pandemic, but the bulletin used to be put here as well. And you see some of the older bulletins here. Oh, looks like we do have something there relatively recently. But to your question, what would happen is the booklet is done. Actually, the board, you guys may have access to do this via Board of Christian Education. If not, I can give it to you. But what you should be able to do, you remember in the beginning, Ramel, when I think it was before Espedito rejoined us, you had logged in. Let me go to Google's homepage, .com, and you had seen something like this. Although, again, I have dark mode enabled, but
Yes, and yes, under documents, you're saying? There
yeah,
was a section called documents.
yeah, the section called documents. But you had when you logged in, I think it was you are showing this 9 dots menu
Mhm.
and all these Google services you have.
Yes.
If you click Google Drive, I believe Board of Christian Education has access to this community GFCC documents folder. And if not, I can give it to you. Basically, you should see this document showing up either in your My Drive section or in shared drives or shared with me. And I don't know how familiar you are with Google Drive, but if this is not shared with you, I can share it with you, or maybe just make it easier, share that Christian education folder specifically with the Board of Christian Education. I think I already did that, but I'm not sure. But what you would do is, or have Robin do it, go to this folder and navigate to Christian Education and just literally drag and drop the document from your desktop, presumably, into this folder. So actually, I think this is the program book from last year. All right, let me see.
Yes. So after you do that,
no, this is the one you sent me for this year, right?
no, that
No,
yes,
last year.
that's the one that for 2022. Correct.
Correct.
So how do you know? So once I drag it or into this folder, how do I put it as the primary?
Yeah. What do you mean by primary? I mean on the main website?
On the main website, so
Yeah.
it doesn't read anything else. So it's so for instance, it doesn't go to this year's. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So you just put a new document here, right? And we should probably clean this up. Like I just probably like drag this all over into this archive folder, or just outright delete it. I'll just do that now in real time. So no one is confused. But yeah, you just put the document here, and actually, you know what? Let me do this. This is illustrate. So you would put the new document here. And then I believe last year though, I sent you or Deacon Ruby the link and you guys emailed a link to the program to all the virtual attendees, if I remember correctly. Does that ring a bell?
We did, yes,
Yeah.
when we emailed them their tape, well, I'm sorry, when we emailed them the information for the hybrid part, for the virtual part, I think we did attach that link. Now,
Yeah.
whether they went to it or not, I know there was some people that did go to the website to download it.
Yeah. And actually, that's what I was going to recommend, right? So again, so two things, right? I recommend this. Put it here.
Okay.
And then if you did nothing else, when someone, let's say they go to our website. They click on documents. And they click on Christian education and it takes you to the same place.
Okay.
Now that might be too many clicks for someone,
Yeah.
right? So I'd recommend doing that, but then also like copying the link to this document. Copy link. Then it's currently set to anyone on the internet can view or find. And then I would actually put that link on the MLK, on the main MLK page.
Okay,
So
yes, that's what I was gonna ask. Could we do that? Yes.
yeah, so you go here.
Mhm.
Actually, how would I do this? I'd probably, you could just add another button here,
Okay.
right? So like we, I showed you before,
Mhm.
you can edit this page.
Mhm.
And I would duplicate these buttons. So right now you have one button that links to the registration. You have another button that links to the flyer. I would just add another, and again, this is getting into HTML, but this right here is the button,
Okay.
right? So I don't want to copy because I don't want to lose the link I just copied, but you would
Right.
basically copy this, paste this,
Mhm.
and then replace this here with the URL of the URL I just copied. So like, for example,
Okay.
let me just do this to show you what I'm talking about. So right now, this button takes you to the registration form. If I were to take this link here and replace it with the link I just copied for that church document, right? If you I don't know if you caught that, but this is basically the link for the document I just
Yes, I
copied.
did. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so that then would have a button with a link directly to that document. And
Okay.
folks would just because they would already be familiar with this page.
Mhm.
And then obviously, of course, you would change the title as well. So again, you would copy the button, change the link, and then they could, in addition to registering or downloading the poster, you could also download the program booklet.
So there would be basically another button down at the bottom. There
Yeah,
would be
that's what.
three.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I got
that's
that.
probably, yeah.
Okay.
There's other ways to do it, but that's probably what I'd recommend.
Okay.
Adding another button for them to download it.
Okay.
Yep, great question. Cool. Any other questions?
Probably the only thing right now for me would be, for instance, I think you already mentioned about creating a new page.
For Board Christian Ed or for Board Christian Ed?
No,
Or-
for youth, I think he's talking about.
Or for the
Well,
youth?
even if it were just for any part of the website, if we needed to create another page, say for the Board of Christian Education, needed to create another page. And I go up and and you showed add content.
Yep.
And then
Basic
you had
page.
said basic page.
Correct.
Now, I get that part, but where where do I go to where it gets placed as a page, so if I'm inside a Board of Education section and I say create a new page, is that just another drop down menu inside of Board of Education's link, or do I have to go in and kind of say where I want it to go?
Yeah, kind of both, right? So I want to just verify if I created a Board of Christian Education kind of placeholder page for you guys already. And actually, to be specific, if I copied the stuff that you got, the work you had done on the Board of Christian Education page, if I had copied that over to this page, I don't think I've done that yet. Let me filter. Let's see, Deacon Board. No, I haven't done that yet. So yeah, so let's do this in real time. So I would add a basic page, right? Some title, put some garbage here. And now a couple things. Let's see, can you do more than here? So I'm going to create a page called some title. Let me save this. And let me go back here for a second to see if I can. Oh, so this is what I wanted to say. So to your question, to get this to show up, you have to associate it with a menu, right? So like the menu we saw before, like here. This main navigation menu.
Yeah.
Right. So if we're talking about the Board of Christian Education page, you'd want it to be in this main menu, probably under the Christian Education section, right?
Mm-hmm.
So to your question, you'd create the page like I just did, and then you need to add it to a menu. Right. So menu settings. There's a couple ways you can get to it, but let me do it this way. Menu settings, provide a menu link. Right. You'll call it, I'll give it the same name as the title, and that's typically like the norm. Sometimes if the page is too long, like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. anniversary breakfast, you might want to shorten it to MLK Day or something like that, right? But I'll leave the title as some title, and then you say what the parent link you want the parent link to be, right? And what this is showing you is the hierarchy of the menu, right? Okay. Now, what this is showing you is everything, right? And most of this is disabled, excuse me, because there's some menu links that are just like for demonstration purposes that came out of the box with Drupal. But like about us, about GFCC is the real thing. Here is the Board of Christian Education link that's the real thing as well. The only active sub menu item is the MLK celebration. Actually, I started the Vacation Bible School one, but you see that this is disabled here. So I'm going to add this as a kind of a child to this Christian education menu. You can specify in what order on the list of menu items. You can specify in what order is presented. So the lower the number, the closer to the top of the menu list it shows up. So I'm going to, just for illustration purpose, leave it at 0. I think all of this can stay as is. Now you can have it generate an automatic alias for you. So this is basically a shortened URL. You may not need that, but like actually, let me take that. But actually, for like the Board of Christian Education page, that should have a shortened URL. Like, so you can go to gfccnet.org/web/BOCE, and so it's easier for everyone to remember. So I'll leave this checked just to show what it looks like. And when you click save, it'll both create the page and it should show up in the menu, right? So you see, Christian education, here's my sum title. Click the title, goes right there.
All right.
And
so that shortened area that you just showed, basically, for instance, if the title of this page it basically takes the title of the page and makes it the link, but in cases where this title is much longer, you don't want that to be the actual link piece. It would be just too long, so you shorten it up in that area so that it's a simpler link.
Exactly. Yeah, it'll do that by default, as you said, right? It'll take the title that you gave and then make sure it conforms to what the URL is, right? So it'll fill in spaces with this dash.
Yeah.
And it may concatenate it, not concatenate it, but cut it off, truncate it if it's like too long.
Too big. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think you can also, let's see. Yeah, you can also manually, as you mentioned, type in this shortened URL. And I think the only requirement is that it basically not have a space. Basically that it's compliant with what the URL should be. And that I think it has to be unique. Or if it's not unique, it'll basically override any pre-existing short URL. So generally when you will do this once, and then like for the MLK current MLK page, right? The shortened URL for that is /MLK. And it just persists. But yeah, you do have that option. And I think this is something you'll need to do for MLK.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry, not MLK, but for the Board of Christian Education's page. Cool. Let me undo my handiwork here. Actually, so now let me try to use this delete, because I never use this. So this should delete this page. Yep, it's confirming, but delete, yes, and delete this. And I'm going to get rid of, actually, it got rid of the menu item for me as well. So cool, I think that's that. Other questions, comments, thoughts?
At this point, for me, no.
Okay.
Yeah, at this point for me, no either. I think you covered basically everything that I had questions on. It doesn't seem too difficult. So, and I think between me and Esposito, I think we can handle the youth conference stuff. What do you think, Esposito?
Oh, I think that should be okay. I mean, obviously, it's also going to be dependent upon what they give us.
So I'm trying to make it as simple as possible.
Are they just going to give us a text document with what they want for text and then some images, or are they going to give us a finished product that we have to, like Wayne said, extract everything from it, either retyping it over or cutting images out of whatever they've already done? So, I mean, that will make it either simpler or harder, based on whatever they've already created. Or not created. I mean, probably in the end, they may just throw it all on us to create everything.
So I already know Lisa is not going to be able to create her page. So it's going to be basically me or you to create that youth conference page. They haven't even started yet on, I haven't even started yet on the youth flyer. But I'm trying to make it, like Wayne said, theirs is not as complex as ours. So it's mostly just like a picture. They will have I will do a banner, but they won't have as many pictures and text as we do. It will probably be, it's going to be, youth conference, the time of the youth conference, the location, the age group for the conference. They will probably have on there the speaker's name and a picture and his name, and that's basically about it.
No, I get that they're not going to do the web page, but at least they're going to do their own flyer.
I'm doing the flyer with Mirage Design. I will be working on that. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So then you'll have all the original text and all the original photos that you're handing them.
Correct.
All right. So then that should be simpler than to just take that data and place it into where it needs to go.
Okay.
One thing that just occurred to me is whether or not, and I think I know the answer to this, they're going to want to have their own registration form.
No, they do. They have their own registration form, but it's never on the website like ours.
And that was problematic in prior years. Even to the point where one year we went through this whole process to have the form, but on the premises, they were taking paper forms. I mean, paper registrations.
Mhm.
And the issue was, for grant purposes, there was certain information that we needed to capture. So you guys might decide to not use the online version again this year, but that was a thing a few years ago, last time at a youth
Oh,
conference. So
okay.
heads up about that. If
I
you
will have
guys
to talk to Reverend Lloyd about that.
Yeah, if you guys do decide to use it, I think the good news would be, and I'm looking as I speak, I think we have one from here it is, right here, GFCC Youth Conference. So it's 2019.
Okay.
This was it. So we have it. It's
Okay,
just a
so
matter of,
then
do
we
we
would,
want to use it?
can
Yeah.
we use this one and just change and edit it and change the dates?
Yeah, it'd be very similar to what we went through. And I
Okay.
think here, look at the questions. I think here, so this is 2019, right? So this is, again, just before the pandemic,
Yes.
the year before the pandemic. So the grade. Yeah, well, what I'm trying to remember is if this included some changes that the grant committee wanted. I think it did. This may have been one of the first, either this or VBS was one of the first forms we created that was sort of conformant to what the grant committee needed us to capture. So yeah, I think we may be able to just reuse this as is.
Okay.
And as you said, just change the specifics. Like you said,
Yes.
actually, I see now that we included the program here.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's here.
Okay.
It's here. Let me send you this link.
Yes, if you could send us that link, that would be
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
So Esposito, that wouldn't be creating anything from scratch. We can just take this and just edit it to 2023.
Mhm.
And then that's it.
Or should Wayne, just be non-destructive to anything, should we just duplicate this particular form and then change it, or should we just change the actual original one to?
Yeah, what I used to do is I used to do exactly just that. I used to copy the form,
Mhm.
and then, but over the last, maybe it's this year, I stopped doing that for a couple of reasons, right? You can, let me see, let me edit this. No, responses. And you see this wasn't used very much, which I think was part of the issue that was brought at the time. So like we have one response, and it's probably just someone, yeah, me testing it, it looks like. You can delete the responses. So what I used to do is I used to duplicate the form and then duplicate where the information is stored, right? Because all of Google Forms information is stored in a corresponding Google spreadsheet. That, by the way, is saved to in this case, well, it should be getting saved to the Board of Christian Education account. I'm pretty sure it is. And so if you click this icon here, it'll take you right to that spreadsheet. Right. So what I used to do is I used to duplicate this form and then duplicate the spreadsheet. Then I stopped duplicating the form and just duplicated the spreadsheet. And then I stopped doing all of the above, because what'll happen is it's like say I want to, all right, we're about to do 2023. You want to get rid of the all responses. So you can delete all the responses, or let me go here. You can delete all responses. Okay. But Google won't delete it from the actual spreadsheet. See, it's still there. So if you want the historical record, it's still there. It's just not in the front end of the, of the tool. So that's my way of saying I don't see any downside of changing the form. And this does have the undo feature you're talking about before, Esposito. That's built into into Google Forms. So yeah, I don't have a issue with you guys doing that. If you do want to make a copy of it, you can do that, right? I think you click here, and then you, how is it? I think that's what it is. You see here. And this is move. You might have to go back to the parent directory and duplicate it from there. So here's the youth conference. And so, yeah, you can click this, and then I think you can look at youth conference. Move. Not oh, maybe it's because Board of Christian Education owns this, why I can't make a copy of it. Because like you see here for the men, I have a copy of the MCF retreats form.
Mhm.
And so that, yeah, but I stopped doing that. I'm not sure why it's not letting me make a copy of it. Let me see who's the owner of this. Collaborators, okay. Yeah, I own it. I see, you see Lisa is an editor of it. Only people with access. Yeah, I'm not sure why it's not letting me make a copy of it. So maybe I'm moving too quickly here. Oh, make a copy. There you go. So I think this will literally copy the form.
Okay.
Yeah. And then
But
you'll
like you're
click
saying, you think it's simpler just to keep
yeah,
editing the master.
I've never had a need to go back. But you know, it's safe, right? Make it like I just started to do here, make a copy. And actually you could do both, right? You can make a copy here just for like archival, not even archival purposes, but just to have a replica of it,
Mhm.
and then edit the main one, edit the original one.
Mhm.
Right? Because really what you want to make a copy of is not only the form, if you do make a copy, not only the form, but initially I wanted to also make a copy of the actual data, the actual registrant information,
Mhm.
right? And so that's, but yeah, it probably wouldn't hurt to make a copy of the form itself and then either make your changes to the copy or make your changes to the original. One of the benefits of keeping the original and changing the original is, again, in a situation like the youth conference and more to the point, like the MLK breakfast, where you're reusing the same pages from year over year, you don't have to go back and like change URLs for the existing pages. So it's a little bit less work, but it's either way, it's not a big deal.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to send you guys this link before I forget, so you have it in case it's necessary, in case you guys do decide to go electronic with the youth conference registration, just so you have it. Cool. Any other questions?
I'm good at this point.
Yes, I'm good too.
I appreciate it very much.
You're very welcome. I will also send you guys this recording.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, well, enjoy the rest of your evening.
All right, same to you. Take
Okay.
care.
All
All
right.
right. Take care. See ya.
Bye.